Hi everybody, this is the comic book guy, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, and welcome back to the comic book hut, and hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. There was actually some pretty good news if you're a fan of Frank Miller at San Diego Comic-Con on the weekend. It's a pretty quiet Comic-Con, I will say that. I didn't hear much coming from there. But one thing that was revealed was that DC and Marvel are going to work together on a crossover. And of course, it'll have the legendary Frank Miller, I guess, drawing it and writing it and producing it. So if you're a fan of his, you'll like it. I'm sort of lukewarm on him. The thing that I really liked most was probably the 300. Beyond that, I was not a fan of the Dark Knight when I was growing up. I was a John Byrne guy, and you see sort of the crudeness of the artwork from Frank Miller is a little off-putting when you're into the sort of the classical, detailed work of John Byrne. But he had done a lot of great stuff for people, and when he did old Wolverine, and he's got, of course, the Dark Knight. But here we have from the Popverse, Frank Miller returns to DC's Dark Knight Returns, and Marvel with an old Batman versus old Wolverine crossover. Old Man Logan versus the Knight Returns Batman is not the matchup we were expecting, but Frank Miller knows how to make grizzled old heroics iconic. You know, it's interesting. I never read The Dark Knight Returns until about 6-7 years ago. I started reading it, and I was like, this is how Batman's been written for the last 40 years. This is how the cartoon, the Batman the Animated Series, is written. It's written in that voice. And Batman has spoken in that voice for 40 years. And I said back then that Batman needed a renaissance. He needed somebody new to influence the character in a positive way and evolve the character. And I feel like he has not evolved as a character. He's sort of frozen in time. We love the Dark Knight version of Batman, but he's frozen in time. Batman was never a character in terms of how he was written, frozen. Never. But for some reason, he still speaks in that voice. It's very strange. Two of the most iconic comic book characters are going to duke it out soon. As part of the ongoing Marvel DC line of stories, we're getting Wolverine versus Batman. But that isn't even the most exciting news. The exciting bit is that Frank Miller is making his return to both DC and Marvel, as he both be writer and artist for the story. During San Diego Comic-Con 25, it was announced that the iconic comic book creator would be returning to two of the characters he's written and drawn in the past. The matchup of Wolverine versus Batman is coming as one of the backup stories in Marvel DC Deadpool Batman #1 on sale on September 17, 2025. Specifically, this will be a matchup of two heroes at the end of their long careers. Oh, that's great. The Wolverine is the Old Man Logan variant created by Mark Millar and Steve McNiven back in 2008. Meanwhile, the Batman he'll be facing is from the Dark Knight Returns, created, of course, by Frank Miller himself. Miller was no stranger to Wolverine, though having done the pencils the very first flagship Wolverine comic book back in 1982. It's certainly a team-up we didn't expect to see, but it makes sense. Both Old Man Logan and The Dark Knight Returns tell the story of a hero who's older and broken by a lifetime of fighting bad guys, yet gets dragged into heroics one last time. Every time I think I'm out, they put me back in. Since this is just a backup story for the larger Marvel DC comic book, we don't expect Wolverine vs. Batman to be a fully fleshed out story. However, it will be worth the price of the comic just to see Frank Miller wade back into both the Marvel and DC brands again, with two characters he's had such an influence over. So this is going to be a backup issue to Deadpool and Batman? It's a weird combination. You know, very strange combination, to be honest with you. Well, you let me know what you think about that. It's just my opinion. And of course, please subscribe to the Comic Book Hut. I'll see you later.